we were campaigning actually to try to get African American women into all the services because they were restricted to the Army at that time, and we were working on universal acceptance. And so I was quite disappointed when I kept reading the African American press and I didn't see anybody joining up. So that was how I came to decide, well, maybe if I join and I live, somebody else will be encouraged to come in. So they finally announced that they would accept them in the Navy. I sent in my papers, and they came back with just a one-word sentence: there is a technicality. And so I thought, well, let me do the papers over. I did them the second time, sent them in, came back from another officer saying, there is still a technicality. And Secretary Forrestal wrote back and said, I don't see any technicality. Be glad to have you in the Navy. And then I got thinking, well, those two people who had said there's a technicality would have dominion over my body, so I better go across the hall to the Coast Guard, be one step removed. And the Coast Guard recruiter was delighted. She wanted to be the first one to send an African American on active duty. They had asked all 11 Coast Guard districts, will you accept an African American, out of basic training? And she said, they all said no, except Admiral Derby in Boston. And Admiral Derby was a very fine person. They sent a colonel from Kentucky, and when he came, he said his duty was to segregate the barracks. We weren't segregated at that time. So he called in the first girl who was in an apartment with, I think, non-African Americans. And he said to the girls that were her roommates, I'm gonna get rid of that roommate. They said, no, you're not. She's so much fun, we couldn't make it without her. You cannot take her out of our barracks. So then he decided he called my roommate and asked her, what dissatisfaction she had. And she said, I can't think of any dissatisfaction. And as she was walking around, he was very disgusted. He couldn't get any complaints out of her. So when she got to the door, she said to him, oh, I thought of one thing that Hooker and I disagree on. And he started writing real fast. He said, she likes Robert Frost's portrait and I don't. I had done graduate work at Ohio State, but when I got the GI Bill, I thought, well, now I can go to Columbia.
What was your favorite course to teach?
Well, I had made up a course called Psychology of Black Leadership. It was just that I wanted the students to know about people who had met all kind of vicissitudes and had overcome them. And so they told me to make up a course for the undergraduates, so I did. And it was a mixed course. I mean, there were whites and blacks in the course.